Tēnā koe te he mana, e te kingi o ko tahitanga, kingi tuheitia pōtutou te wherowhero, te tuawhitu ki te rangi. E te kuini nā waihono I te pō ki te whenua. E te he mana, koutou nā committee member, tēnā koutou katoa. On behalf of the chair and trustees of Te Papa O Rotu, I'm here today representing the voices of our pā, our marae community. Some of them are here with me in the wharenui. Others are online as we speak now. Our pā is located on the outskirts of Kirikiriroa, Hamilton and Whatawhata, under the shadow of our maunga, Pirongia, and our tūpuna awa, the Waipā River. We have over 3,600 members and we are growing. There are many more to come. That whakapapa to the pā. We are second only in size to Tūranga Waiwai in Ngaruawāhia. We are mahanga haurua, proud and hard. While we will take our written submission as read, I make the following additional points. Tuatahi, we are a kingitanga marae and support mana motuhake and the exercise of rangatiratanga over the affairs of our pā, our whenua, our paiao. Tuarua, we are one of 68 Waikato marae that 30 years ago supported the late Māori Queen, Te Ariki Nui, Te Atairangi Kāhu, and Sir Robert Mahuta, tribal negotiator, to settle the historic Raupatu confiscation of whenua claim. The Crown accepted the confiscation was wrong and unjust and apologised for the breaches and the mamae the hurt caused. Queen Elizabeth II herself signed the Settlement Act. That settlement is founded on Te Tiriti o Waitangi as outlined in the preamble to the Waikato Raupatu Settlement Act of 1995. Mahanga Haurua has other non-Raupatu claims which we are seeking redress from the Crown. Again, the basis is Te Tiriti o Waitangi, not the version that is being wrongly promulgated in the bill. Our pā, like many across the motu, seeks to uplift our members from our mokopuna to our kaumātua and to grow a prosperous future. We are intergenerational in our focus. In closing, what would be his final koroneihana last year, Kingi Tuheitia said, we must work in kotahitanga if we are to move forward as a nation. This bill does nothing but the opposite. One of the key aspects of treaty settlements is to ensure their durability. They will stand the test of time. Mahanga Haurua want the remaining aspects of our claims to be considered on the same fundamental principles that were established in the Waikato Raupatu Whenua and river settlements. This bill creates an uneven playing field for those remaining outstanding claims, and that is inherently unfair because it creates two settlement classes for our people. We therefore reject and strongly oppose the principles of Treaty of Waitangi Bill in its entirety. It is divisive and ruthlessly causing harm to the Māori-Crown relationship, not just in the Waikato, but across the motu. Nō reira, he kōrero whakakapi ngā kingi tuheitia anō, tākiri tū te kotahitanga, tākiri tū te mana motuhake. Kai marere kia tātou. I'm happy to take any questions.
Well, kia ora koutou. Thank you for your submission. We'll start with a couple of questions first from Simon Court and then Rachel Brooklyn.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you very much for your submission. It was really interesting to hear that perspective. I'm interested in your submission, paragraph 13 recommendations, where you implore the government to focus on the real issues facing New Zealanders. You refer to race baiting, which sounds awful. You also refer to capitalist greed. And I'm just wondering what you mean by that, because we have heard that from a number of submitters. They're concerned about capitalism. And I'm wondering if you might be able to give a response in context that the marae that you represent, I understand, you could confirm this for me, as one of the beneficiaries of the Raupatu settlement. and also has representation on Tainui Group Holdings, which holds 1.4 billion in assets and returned nearly $270 million profit on those assets in 2022. So I'm trying to understand what is the opposition to capitalism that's coming through in this submission?
So the way I think of that is, and that's why I made mention of the border settlement, of which we are one of 68 marae, and that historical context, the confiscation of whenua, which essentially took away our economic opportunity from that time. So the settlement is an opportunity for us to rebuild the economic, not only the economic, the social, environmental consequences for our iwi. So I do, again, if I come back to our written submission, I think there are a number of examples that illustrate the direction that the coalition government is going in, and we do not support it.
Well, just a
They're
quick
inconsistent
follow-up.
with the DTO Principles Bill.
One follow-up.
Yeah, well, I mean, given that this government has made it very clear that the government's keen to grow the economy, cut red tape, liberalise planning laws, make it easier for people to use their land. They've done a whole lot of things around making it easier to hire and fire people who aren't good employees. Don't you think that actually the government's done a lot to help people use their assets to grow their business and to become more wealthy? And I'm just trying to understand how all the things the government's doing that are positive appear not to have landed, because your submission quite clearly uses the term capitalist greed as if owning assets and making a profit is somehow wrong, while your iwi and your hapu and your marae appear to benefit from capitalism.
So in response to your question about whether this government is doing that, the law is still being made in some cases, so we don't really know because it's still being executed and implemented. The growth of our settlement has happened over 30 years. But again, as I say, the settlement is in response to successive generations that have suffered as a consequence of the confiscation of the raupatu of whenua in Waikato.
Thanks, Simon. Thanks, Parekawhia. We'll go to Rachel Brooklyn, please.
Thank you, and thank you for your submission. I noted in your oral submission you talked about treaty settlements and treaty issues and not the version in this bill. So it makes it sound, and correct me if I'm wrong or not, that's why I'm asking, this is why I'm asking the question, that you think that the principles in the bill are trying to be another version of the treaty, and if I'm correct in that, and then how that links to the conversation you've just been having with Simon Court about capitalism, and whether the principles very much focus on private property, in your opinion, more than the articles of the treaty.
So the principles, I mean, they have been constructed without the treaty partner. So they've been constructed unilaterally, which is the point we made in our written submission, as opposed to the articles. And there are two versions of the treaty. So Te Tiriti Waitangi and Te Reo Māori and the Treaty of Waitangi. So this version that we have has been, like as I said before, has been designed without the treaty partner.
Thanks, Parekawhia. Are there any further questions? If not, what we'll do is we will just thank you all for being with us this afternoon, for providing your submission. It's greatly appreciated that you've taken the time to be with us and for answering those questions as well. So just want to acknowledge that and to thank you.
Kia ora. Tēnā koutou katoa.
Right, folks, we are right on time.